If you've been watching me for a while, I feel like it's fairly well known that I'm a Peacekeeper main. I have the most reps on her out of any character in the game. Between my Xbox account, PlayStation account, I believe I have 23 reps on her in total, which makes me fairly knowledgeable of her kit and the things that she can do. With them trying to buff PK in this most recent patch, failing miserably, all they ended up doing is bringing her up to speed with the rest of the cast, which is fine, but she's still very weak in 1v1s, along with probably being the worst character in the game for Dominion. These are some PK buffs I thought of that hopefully wouldn't break the game. If you're wondering why she's weak, I made a video about that a few months ago. It goes in depth into how and why pretty much every single character in the game can counter her main mix-up. In this most recent patch, I believe they did not add anything to fix that. To start, we should go over the changes that they gave to her in this most recent patch. The major ones is reducing zone stamina by a lot. This is just something that they should have done to every single character a long time ago, but I guess PK slipped through the cracks. And then they made her soft feint to her dagger top light slightly faster. Besides that, all of the other changes they made are realistically just adjusting hitboxes and other very minute things that you're not really going to notice in gameplay. To start with my original idea, if you ever played Elden Ring, the way that bleed works in that is after you get a certain amount of it, it does a huge amount of damage. Not proposing that, but what if whenever a character had their HP completely deleted by bleed, as in they were going to die, they just instantly die? I cannot tell you the amount of times I've gotten somebody to be killed, but I just ended up dying. They had bounty hunter or executed me. They could make it just a buff for PK or buff for bleeding in general. Shaman is doing it okay right now, but Nobushi is really not in a good spot, so it could also work. No, I'm not completely sure on that last one, but this one I've seen around is to make her dagger soft feint unblockable. This wouldn't affect 1v1s that much. Of course it would, because it would get rid of the option of blocking the top light, but if you're gonna read that, you might as well parry it, right? But what it would do for her is it would give her the help that she needed in Dom, because what she could do is she could soft feint into the top light dagger, and because it would be unblockable, she can actually hit it externally. That way she can bleed on the opponent and then go into her other unblockables after that. A variation of this for the people who are worried about how she's going to play in 1v1s, which pretty realistically she's also bad in, but that's a story for another day, is that she can only do the unblockable dagger riposte from the top. Because normally, whenever you throw a top heavy with PK, you're doing it for max punishes, because if you're going for the soft feint to top light normally, it basically just gives your opponent a light parry, because the timing is the exact same on the normal heavy and the soft feint. So that's why you would never really want to do it in a 1v1 scenario, but you would still want to do it in Dominion for external pressure, because she basically has none. Now, for the third one, it's kind of a small thing, and it's kind of something that just really annoys me, but she has a guard break deflect, but it's not guaranteed. It probably wouldn't be better for team fights, but in 1v1s, or even 2v2s, then yeah, it would be, because you would not have the time to get the full guard break damage off. In a team fight, you would just get hit out of it. Idea 4 is if PK landed a unblockable heavy, all of the bleed damage that she had acquired on the enemy would instantly just convert to normal damage. Even if you're not a fan of this, what they could do is make it to where the top unblockable heavy does this. That way, it's a little harder to get into, but it would just make it so satisfying to finally land the unblockable top heavy and just see the entire HP bar completely get obliterated. Another option that could help with the external problem is if you had a parry riposte that would immediately put bleed on the enemy. This would be a pretty big buff for her in 1v1s, but it would also definitely help and add a little more to her kit that's kind of, in my opinion, desperate. We're going to start to get into a little more outrageous territory here, so just be prepared for that. If the enemy is bleeding, make her neutral heavies unblockable. Now, that may sound ridiculous, but you know, that just starts off this phase of the video fairly well because it is completely ridiculous. But it would be really fun. Another thing is that her dodge attack is completely horrible. That's extremely weird because she's an assassin, she's supposed to be nimble and stuff. So what I'm proposing, give her a better dodge attack, you know? It does enough damage, but it's so slow. It has barely any iframes. The hitbox is horrible. You can tell exactly whenever she's gonna do it. And then give her a dodge back move like Orochi has, where if you dodge backwards, then you can press light and you can immediately lunge back forward with your dagger, and that can do damage on enemies. And on top of having these dodge changes, you also have recovery cancels. Adding those changes would change her identity a little bit, but she would still really rely on soft feints to get a lot of her damage in. And another thing you could do is her dodge attacks in general, you could add a soft feint to them like kinda JJ has. That would do bleed damage straight up. Because you attack with your right dagger, you can soft feint the left one. It would look really cool. Anyway, those are all of my ideas for PK reworks. They teased that they were gonna go back to her later this year, and hopefully they'll fix her. I would be lying if I said that I had faith, because this is For Honor, the video game, so I really don't, but I certainly do hope that we don't end up with another Orange Man conk, if you know what I mean. Anyway, that's pretty much all from me. I hope you're enjoying year 8, and I hope to have another amazing year of For Honor. See ya. Okay, that's good gameplay. I'm gonna clip that whole game.